Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned into NB12, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Here's what's making news tonight. Protests planned by the opposition over the fate of dismissed contract workers. The Progressive Liberal Party responds. Police say there's a possibility the car you're driving could have been stolen right here on New Providence. The Olympic trial started this evening. We'll tell you why it's not taking place in the new National Stadium. Plus, the world-famous Dance Theater of Harlem takes the stage for the first of two performances. I'm Nikia DeVoe, and NB12 starts right now. Thanks again for joining us here at NB12. The Free National Movement and the Progressive Liberal Party continuing to verbally attack each other over the fate of contract workers under the Urban Renewal Program. Yesterday, more than 75 of them reportedly received letters that their services will no longer be needed come the end of this month. But the F&M is not letting this matter go quietly. They say they will protest to ensure that those people continue to have employment. Paige McCartney reports.
The F&M says for a government that has promised to create more jobs to reduce unemployment numbers in the Bahamas, they sure aren't helping the situation by adding nearly 100 people to the thousands of Bahamians that are currently out of work.
But the PLP said in a statement released today that it supports the government's strategy as an important component to revamp urban renewal and introduce Urban Renewal 2.0. The statement said the efforts are making the program stronger and more responsive to the needs of affected communities. The PLP also maintains that the move to let go of almost 80 workers was not politically motivated and that their contracts had simply expired. The party pointed out that the F&M did the same thing to many senior police, immigration, and customs officers and entry-level contract workers when they returned to government in 2007. Today, former Minister of Labor under the Ingram administration, Foulkes, said the PLP's response to the matter is cold-hearted.
Bradley Roberts said that this is not a big deal because they are contract workers, and which I thought was very insensitive and very callous. These persons are real people with real. As a matter of fact, I think it's unchristian.
Of all the people who are being let go from urban renewal, 8 will remain, whom the F&M claims are PLPs. During the last Ingram administration, Foulkes had responsibility for urban renewal as Minister of Labor. He said each person hired at the time underwent a fair vetting system and politics was not involved. Foulkes said when the F&M was in power during an economic recession, it did many things to help Bahamians and not add to the country's social problems.
We doubled the social service budget, we did the unemployment benefit, we did many stimulus jobs, and that was done with the view to relieve the suffering. I am just shocked, and the F&M is absolutely shocked that the PLP government can take this course of action.
The F&M said it's going to protest until all of those who were told their services are no longer needed are returned to their jobs.
We are committed to the protection of jobs for Bahamians, period. The Progressive Liberal Party campaigned on a concept of job creation and on the concept of Bahamians first. All of these 80 urban renewal staff officers who were terminated are Bahamians. The majority of them are women with children, and they have many obligations, from rent to school fees to mortgage payments to car payments. I just do not understand.
The Progressive Liberal Party has also said that when the F&M was in power, it also defended its policy decisions as proper and serving in the government's best interests, and its position is no different. For NB12, I'm Paige McCartney.
Well, the F&M and the PLP are also going back and forth about the future of BTC. F&M Chairman Charles Maynard says the party is worried that Prime Minister Perry Christie's talks with CWC executives to get back controlling shares of BTC would jeopardize a future share offering to Bahamians as well as competition. Charisma Robinson reports.
On Monday, the Prime Minister met with Cable and Wireless CEO Tony Rice to initiate discussions, despite former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram's assertion that the deal was irreversible.
A part of the whole privatization of BTC included the offering of shares to ordinary Bahamians. And we are now very concerned that the process that Mr. Christie and his government is going through is jeopardizing the ability for Bahamians to buy shares in BTC. It was an eminent sale for share offering to be done, and now you hear in their pronouncements that they're going to put that on hold, and we think that that's unfair. The Bahamian people should have the right to be able to be stakeholders in our telecommunications industry.
The F&M chairman says what Bahamians want more than anything else is the ability to have choices. Maynard says with less than 2 years to go for the liberalization of the cellular market, this kind of discussion is not helping.
I think the government should be focused on making sure that in this 2-year period that we'd be ready to welcome a new company in to compete against BTC. Because when you have two companies, that means that BTC would have to be on top of its game in order to keep the customers that they have, and the new company will be doing all it can to attract customers, and so at the end of the day the consumer wins. And so I think that the Christie government is on the wrong wicket when it comes to even dealing with this matter. And I believe that it's really political posturing and not real, genuine concern or even discussions that they're having.
The F&M is also concerned about the message this may be sending to potential investors.
Anytime you have a system of governance where major, and this is not a minor contract that is canceled or something like that, where major agreements with multi-international entities could just be switched on a dime because the electorate decide to vote one government in over the next, it sends the wrong message to investors. If I was a major company now, I would be watching how this whole thing unplays, because it makes me feel that if I invest in the Bahamas and an administration comes in that's not friendly to my company, that my investment will be in jeopardy. And so I again would want to caution the Progressive Labour Party to tread very lightly, not only in their actions, but in their pronouncements, because it sends the wrong message out to the international community.
With regard to BTC's service, the chairman insists that the major complaint from unions representing workers and others about Cable and Wireless being the strategic partner for BTC was that their corporate culture was not a great fit for the Bahamas.
In terms of the technical problems that we've been having with cellular and so on, I understand that it's a part of getting the complete upgrade that needs to be done to make sure that the company is at its best when the competition comes in. And so it's one of those things that you might have to deal with for a amount of time. They promise that by a certain time they'll have the system in order, and we wait to see if that's going to be reality.
Maynard disagrees with the Prime Minister's recent comments that the recent disruption in service is a good reason to pursue taking back control in shares of BTC. He says that certainly would not stop future technical glitches. Reporting for NB12.
Well, police officers of the Central Detective Unit's Stolen Vehicles section are noticing new trends from car thieves, and now they're warning members of the public and asking for their assistance in cracking down on some clever criminals. Inspector Cedric Taylor says they continue to receive car theft reports, but what they're noticing this year is that instead of being scrapped for parts, the majority of stolen vehicles are being sold to second-hand car buyers. And police are also seeing an increase in fraudulent documents that car thieves use to convince buyers that the cars are not stolen. Taylor is encouraging potential buyers not to accept any police form or allow the seller to license or insure the vehicle before they purchase it. Instead, anyone shopping for used vehicles is encouraged to take the vehicle to CDU to be checked.
We would document all the numbers and check the vehicles properly to make sure nothing is fraud or the vehicle is being modified. On completion, we will give you a form to take the road traffic so that they can license and insure the vehicle. This is free of charge. So we want persons, before you purchase the vehicle, ask the person you're buying the car and yourself to come to the Central Detective Unit before any money is given out.
And if you think that's too much of a hassle, officers say it could save you time, money, and a trip to jail.
We are finding that a number of vehicles so far for the year we have gotten, they are sold to the buyer, and we arrest the buyer, and also we take the vehicle and they're losing thousands of dollars, and they cannot remember who they buy these vehicles from. So be aware of these persons selling in these vehicles in the newspaper.
The officers also gave several tips to keep your car from being stolen and resold. Park in well-lit areas. Install a car alarm system. If you have a used car, change the locks. Purchase a club or anything that will lock the steering wheel. And police say your vehicles aren't even always safe at home. Another trend they're noticing is the stealing of vehicles from homes between 12 a.m. and 8 a.m. Taylor said that cars should not be parked outside of the property, and all homeowners should secure their yards with walls or fences. And owners of the following types of vehicles should be even more alert.
Popular cars we're seeing being sold are the Nissan model cars, the Hondas, the Inspires, the Nissan Sentras, the Maximas, and the Altimas. Those are the cars that these persons are targeting and reselling to the members of the public.
And currently 839 of these types of vehicles are sitting at the police car compound. 330 of the cars are ready to be auctioned, and 80 to 90 of them are vehicles involved in crimes or traffic fatalities. And while those numbers are already high, Assistant Superintendent Demerit says there are even more stolen vehicles that have not been recovered.
Our recovery rate success was not as great as we expected. In 2012, we hope that to increase our recovery rate. At this time, when vehicles when vehicles are recovered, we contact the owners. The owners respond favorably. These vehicles are collected and sometimes are handed back to the owner in good working condition. Depends on the time the vehicle was stolen.